before you and the Vice President were evacuated to a secure location within the Capitol, you hit send on an email to John Eastman explaining why his legal theory about the Vice President's role was wrong. You ended your email by stating that, quote, "Thanks to your bullshit, we are now under siege." We'll take a look at that email. And Dr. Eastman replied, and this is hard to believe, but his reply back to you was, "The siege is because you and your boss," presumably referring to the Vice President of the United States, "did not do what was necessary to allow this to be aired in a public way so the American people can see for themselves what happened."
Yeah.
Mr. Jacob, later that day, you wrote again to Dr. Eastman. Let's show that email on the screen. In that email, you wrote, and I quote, "Did you advise the President that in your professional judgment, the Vice President does not have the power to decide things unilaterally?" And you ended that email saying, "It does not appear that the President ever got the memo." Dr. Eastman then replied, "He's been so advised." And he ends his email with, quote, "But you know him, once he gets something in his head, it's hard to get him to change course," close quote.
So, I mean, they all knew it was illegal. Everybody understood that Mike Pence was not going to be the security guard in Goodfellas, okay? He wasn't going to, give the key to unlock the door to autocracy, to fascism. He wasn't going to be the one who goes down in history as the destroyer of everything American, of every system of government, of every, a state legislature, of every federal, officer in this country. He wasn't going to be the one that made Donald Trump the king of this country. And then Eastman realizes, oh, crap. I know it's illegal. I told the president it's illegal, but you know him when he gets it in his mind, that he could scheme or defraud or conspire or make money or use his power in a way that serves just him. It's hard to talk him off the ledge. And then Eastman understands he's going to need a pardon. Why? Because Eric Hirschman, who is a White House lawyer, told him, get yourself an effing criminal attorney. You're going to need one, and hangs up on him. So Eastman then calls Rudy Giuliani. Now, Rudy Giuliani doesn't serve in this government anywhere. He had no government position at all. He's like Donald Trump's, Luca Brasi, okay? He's a hitman. But Eastman calls him and says, I need a pardon. Can you get me on the list? Can you get me on the list? Can't do it, Sally. Can't do it.
Just a few days later, Dr. Eastman emailed Rudy Giuliani and requested that he be included on a list of potential recipients of a presidential pardon. Dr. Eastman's email stated, quote, I've decided that I should be on the pardon list, if that is still in the works. Dr. Eastman did not receive his presidential pardon. So let's see what Dr. Eastman did as a result when he was deposed by this committee.
I assert my Fifth Amendment right against being compelled to be a witness against myself.
Did the Trump legal team ask you to prepare a memorandum regarding the Vice President's role in the counting of electoral votes at the joint session of Congress on January 6, 2021?
Yeah.
Dr. Eastman, did you advise the President of the United States that the Vice President could reject electors from 7 states and declare that the President had been reelected? Dr. Eastman, the first sentence of the memo starts off by saying 7 states have transmitted dual slates of electors to the President of the Senate. Is that statement in this memo true? Did President Trump authorize you to discuss publicly your January 4th, 2021 conversation with him?
Fifth.
So is it your position that you can discuss in the media direct conversations you had with the President of the United States, but you will not discuss those same conversations with this committee?
Fifth.
Dr. Eastman pled the Fifth 100 times.
100 times he pled the Fifth in a deposition. 100 times he took the Fifth Amendment. That's Dr. Eastman. That's who he is. I mean, he's like Tessio, okay? He went to Tom and he said, can you do it? Can I get on the list for old time's sake? Can I get on the list? You can't do it, Sally. Can't do it. And so he was forced to go to a deposition by subpoena. And in that deposition, Mr. Eastman, who is a constitutional scholar, who's a legal, he's a legal eagle. He's the person that Donald Trump turned to for legal, guidance and advice to get him to overturn the results of a free and fair election. And he's the one that had to take the Fifth Amendment 100 times in his deposition. 100 times. That is painful. And the fact that he still has a law license is just, it's stunning. That Rudy still has, although Rudy is suspended in New York, that these people could continue to practice law when they're so lawless is such a glitch in the system. Now, obviously, people go, well, why are we having these January 6 hearings? Because we need to fix the Electoral Count Act so that there is no chance to exploit it in 2024.